Hello and welcome to episode 59 of the King Butt podcast. Today we are joined by Chesqua, a Manchester-based artist. She produces synthy pop music and is currently working on her new EP, City of Doubts. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. As we've been talking, I'm quite tired today.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah, it's been a
long day.
Already. How are you, Ali?
I'm very good, thank you, Brad. Thank you for having me back on the podcast.
It's been a pleasure. Been a while, actually.
It's been a hot minute, hasn't it, since I've been on this? Yeah. I was meant to be on it I was meant to be on Monday.
Yeah, I got rid of you though.
Yeah, you took me off it, didn't you?
I didn't
Not
want
good
you.
enough.
Yeah, I didn't want you.
Not fair enough.
Wasn't the right
that is
vibe.
fair. That is fair.
Yeah. So, Chesqua, for the people at home that don't know who you are, who the hell are you?
Who am I?
What are you doing here?
I don't know. Who am I? Elmer the elephant, apparently.
Great outfit, by the way.
Thank you so much. I'm glad somebody's noticed.
I didn't get the memo on the flashy
crazy shirt.
I really wish you told me because I could have brought some corkers with me.
Oh, I know, man.
Isn't that the great thing about being a musician? You can just wear anything.
Whenever you want.
Like, you couldn't go and do a Morrison's trip. Well, maybe
You definitely could. I think like that fashion is getting more and more universally accepted nowadays.
Yeah.
You'd very easily spend a day in that.
Yeah.
No one bats.
I might just
I'd
go
wear
and
that.
do loads of like, what was the most boring things I could do in this outfit today?
It wouldn't be that boring then because then you feel so crazy.
You had a bit of fun.
Yeah, like pop to the post office. And,
Yeah.
No, I'm Chesqua and I make synthy pop. I really hate labels, but yeah, I got really inspired writing this stuff in lockdown after listening to a couple of artists. But the main artist that inspired me for this would be Caroline Polachek. Now I'm hoping I say her.
Yes. So
Yeah.
good.
Okay, I don't know who.
I was literally going to say when you were like describing music, I was like, do you like Caroline Polachek?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
So particularly there was like a lyric and it, I hope I say this right, took 10 laps around the planet to prove who I wasn't. And the door slams hard in my face when I leave the house of judgment. And I think it just kind of summarised what I was trying to do.
Okay.
Because I've tried so many different genres, worked with so many different people, been managed, been in bands, and I feel like I've tried pretty much everything. And then it was kind of, well, what do I like? And what can I actually play as well? Because I play keys really badly. So what can I make? And really got into production, sampling, synths, and yeah, just started making some demos. And I'd say the artist that inspired me for that would be Caroline Polachek. Haim, I love Haim. Pretty obvious. Yeah,
On board with that.
just good summery vibes. Yeah. Oh, who else? I mean, it's very 80s inspired, and I have to go back. I'd say, I don't even know if I can put myself on this pedestal, but like Prince, Whitney, Shaka Khan, like having that disco vibe, but the soul and the pop, and yeah. So a mash of that. That's kind of what I'm trying to create.
I get
emulate.
that. I'm getting that vibe from the live set. It definitely came across in that way.
It's on its way.
We'll get in there.
It's not completed yet, but that's kind of what, yeah.
So how long have you been doing your own stuff? Because obviously you've worked with like a lot of different producers. I went on your Spotify and there's just endless lists of different tracks that you've been working on.
I mean, this is it. So I feel like I'm beginning as like an artist again. I've been writing for the last, I'm going to show my age now, the last 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And with loads of different people, and it's been a great learning curve and it's been a great experience, but I don't think there's been times when it's been really authentic and times when it's like, oh, what am I doing? Like, am I just saying yes to this because somebody's asked me? So lockdown was actually really good for me. All the songs that I just performed were all written in lockdown. And it's very different to my first EP, which is neo soul kind of vibes.
Kind of got a bit of hip hop,
Soul, man.
Yeah.
I feel like of all the descriptions for music, neo soul has been the most bastardized.
Future soul, yeah. And yeah, I mean, that kind of was birthed out of coming out of the Snarky Puppy residency. So, like, I was just, like, my eyes, my ears were just opened up to all these artists, all this music, and I was like, wow, what is this? Like, I don't know what this is, and I want to do that. And so I got my band together and put that EP together, and yeah, it's very different from what I'm doing now. But yeah, it has a special place. So yeah, it's really evolved these last couple of years.
So the newer stuff is kind of more on the sort of poppier kind of side?
Yeah. I mean, the good thing about it depends on the lineup. Like how, so, you know, if you strip it back, it is pop, but my guitarist is like absolutely shredding stuff, so it can go quite rocky, which is quite good when you want to try and get gigs, because you're like, we can make it work for anything.
Sure, yeah.
But I definitely felt like I had to get out of that neo soul box. Being from Manchester and being a female artist, there's very similar people doing similar stuff to me, and I thought, well, if we're gonna be going for the same lineup, we're all doing the same thing, and I kind of want to break out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
And also, like, because I wanted to produce a lot of the stuff myself, like, I'm not a jazzer, and you have to have serious chops to kind of do that well. So to move forward, I was like, I'm just going to go back to the stuff I like, the sounds I like, the vibe, and just kind of bring it back in and then see what happens.
He's talking about, you're not a jazzer, you need to know. I could teach you one chord.
Like, go on.
One shape of chord.
Go on.
And then if you just move that around almost randomly on the keyboard. Remember when we were doing that gig and I just started just playing these random chords, and it sounded like, not to diminished neo soul, it's beautiful, but it sounded like a lot. It could have very easily been on an Erykah Badu album or something.
Yeah. See, I think that is the beauty of like just playing keys and stuff like that you can do. I think I love producing because I can play things in. I'm like, quantize that, and that sounds good.
And shift it around.
So I did write a couple of tracks that were like a neo soul vibe, and I think when I do a live gigs again, I think I will have some of those songs in there.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't want to be pigeonholed as like this mixed race female artist from Manchester that's doing neo soul, and so is 5 other people. So that was a long-winded way to say the sound has changed, it's evolving, done loads of stuff, and hopefully you like it.
So is the new EP that you're that's kind of like underway?
Yeah.
When do we think this is going to be?
So
It's really loud then on mic. I do apologise. Listen, no, I sniffed really loud.
Okay.
But then I just feel like I apologise to all listeners.
Oh, yeah. So basic plan, to put a single out in June, and then release an EP in July and have like a bit of a launch party kind of thing, because I turned 30 in July, so I'm like, well, this feels really like a nice time to kind of do it.
Yeah. And have you been working with a producer on the new stuff? Or?
Yeah, so made most of the stuff myself, like demos, and then my guitarist is doing production on it. So it's so it really works. Like, we really, really work together. So working with lots of different producers, I kind of just, the process before that is I got given tracks to write on top of, or like I'd go into songwriting sessions, which are great, but also it's like, I don't like the environment of a songwriting session. So it's the first time I've worked with somebody that's listened to my ideas, listened to my demos, and enhanced them. They've not took away stuff. They've not said, that's not good. They've made it better. So he's doing all the production on that. So
what's his name? Who is this?
Daniel Reid.
Daniel Reid.
Yes.
Okay.
Has loads of different names that he goes under, works in loads of different bands, but yeah, Daniel Reid.
Nice.
Yeah.
And would you say the EP feels like more you now because it's not being chopped and changed around by a producer? It's kind of coming more directly from your ideas. Does it feel more genuine?
Yeah, it feels 100% genuine. It feels like it's my experiences. I'm not having to write it so that it relates to 100 million people.
Sure.
And somebody's not saying, oh, why don't you say it like this? And I don't know if that's a good thing that it's coming all from me, but it definitely feels like it's took a long time to just be like, no, if I'm going to put music out, it can't be 10 other people's voices and opinions and their direction and their, this is what you should do. So yeah, it has come, I'd say 90% from me. Obviously, my producer makes it sound amazing. So I can't take all the credit for that.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I think let's hear some of this lovely music.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and chat about the EP and all the tracks. So, you lovely people at home, you're about to hear a delightful live session from our guest today, Chesqua. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back in a second.
Hi, I'm Chesqua, and this is Ollie on keys and stuff. And the first track I'm performing today is The Looking Glass.
You caught me off guard. Thought I was looking for a one-night thing, and there you were. I'm guilty. I don't let anyone in or take care of me in case they
This next track is City of Doubt.
Live in the city. I stop myself living in case it hurts. Talk to my fears at night, make them worse. Promise tomorrow when the light hits the bed, I get up and face it, try again. Turning the clocks back to my youth. Look in the mirror, don't recognize you. A people pleaser, dream teaser. Why'd you hide away your truth? I wanna see you. When all the noise dies down and no one's round, just you. I moved into the city of self-doubt. Tell myself there's no way out. Watch the people live their dreams while I lay on my couch. Sleep with the ghosts around my town. Tell myself there's no way out. No chance now to come down. I live in the city of doubt. And I wanna be that girl in a box, twirling around till the music stops. Wait behind the curtain for the spotlight. Will I ever take my turn? Playing my monsters in the past. Schedule the time, but the feeling lasts. You won't find her here. She's disappeared. Fear of failure makes this hurt. I don't see my worth. When all the noise dies down, no one's round my world. And I moved into the city of self-doubt. Tell myself there's no way out. Watch the people live their dreams while I lay on my couch. Sleep with the ghosts around my town. Tell myself there's no way out. No chance now to come down. I live in the city of doubt. The city, the city. I live in the city. There's no coming down. I live in the city, the city, the city of doubt. The city, the city. I live in the city. There's no coming down. I live in the city, the city, the city of doubt. Ooh. I live in the city. There's no coming down. I live in the city, the city, the city of doubt. I live in the city, the city. I live in the city, the city, the city of doubt.
Thank you. This next track is Banksy and World Peace.
Me up, you tell me that you're done, you're leaving. Just one night, let my heart break even. And all the things we should have said, left with our clothes on the floor. Meet me at the neon lights. Get me high just one more time. We take a drive round town, talk about Banksy and world peace. It's not over, not over, not over till we're there. There's no way, there's no way, there's no way I could be your friend. You push my buttons, I see rent, you get up in my head. Pull me close, whisper something you should have said. It's not over, not over, not over till we're dead. Childhood sweetheart, grown up now. Why you always looking for trouble? We made a promise on that bridge with our names padlocked in the heart. Sunsets and candy floss skies, those words you tried to disguise. I took a Polaroid to remember you said it first. It's not over, not over, not over till we're dead. There's no way, there's no way, no way, there's no way, there's no way. You push my buttons, I see red, you get up in my head. Pull me closer, whisper something you should have said. It's not over, not over, not over till we're dead. And no one makes me feel like you do. I forget to try and play it cool. Let's lie around for hours, talk about Banksy and world peace. I wanna lie with you forever. Banksy and world peace. Banksy and world peace. Banksy and world peace. I wanna lie with you forever. Banksy and world peace. Banksy and world peace. Banksy and world peace. I wanna lie with you forever.
Oh, thank you so much. This last tune is Stand in the Way.
What do you stand for? What do you stand for? Keep running for survival. Divide has made
Chesqua, where can people find your stuff online?
It's at Chesqua on Instagram, Facebook, and Bandcamp. Oh, and Spotify.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to episode 59 of the Kicking Back podcast. You just watched a delightful live session from our guest today, Chesqua. Well done, Chesqua.
Thank you.
So, are all those tracks on the new EP?
They will be.
They will be.
They will be.
How exciting. So, take me through each one, what they're about, how they came to be.
Right, I tried to do this chronologically because my brain just can't do things in order. So,
Sure.
Looking Glass, that was the first one that I performed, and that was the first track that I did the production on. So, I've always been interested in production, and I've always recorded, but I've never had the confidence to share it with people. So, I've recorded piano and vocals and sent it to people, but even if I've had ideas, I've just never put them in.
Sure.
And then with lockdown and not being able to go to the studio, everybody had to get a bit more self-sufficient. So got this little groove box and got into sampling and stuff and put that track together. And that was the first one. So I was just like, oh, right, well, I'm just going to do a couple of these and see what happens. So that was the first time I was like, oh, I think I'm into synth pop. Because before that, it'd been neo soul or dance features or band stuff. And then I'd been writing in the studio a B-Tech version of Amy Winehouse Duffy, meets Little Mix. You know, when you get in songwriting sessions and people just don't get you or,
It's not gelling.
I mean, they had a place, but you've got an hour to write a hit. It's not going to happen, is it? No. You can try. So I was just right, this is this blank canvas. So Looking Glass was the first one. And I'm trying to remember the lyrics so I can tell you why I started it. Well, behind the mask thing was because everyone was going about with masks. And it's when you look at someone and when you can just see eyes, you can't read their expression and you don't know. Yeah, if I just go like that. But do you know what I mean? So it's that concept, and it's when someone just accepts you even though they don't know what they're getting, they just accept you, and then when you're with them, you start unveiling those layers, and you might be a hot mess, but they just accept you. So it was that kind of I think there's a lyric in the bridge, and it's when the world's up in flames and my head's filled with doubt, I'm hoping you'll stay and drown them out. So it's just someone sticking around when you're a hot mess, which I was in lockdown. It's what is my purpose? I can't leave the house. I've got to bake banana bread. So that was the first lockdown song. And yeah, so I sent that off to a couple of people. And I was like, what do you think about this? Friends and stuff. And they're oh, this is really cool. Should carry on. So then, second song I performed was City of Doubt, which was just written at piano. It was really slow. It was a ballad. And it was just about being absolutely paralysed by fear and self-doubt that you just don't do the work.
Right, okay.
Where you just that you need to go and work on your music, work on your craft, but you're just there scrolling on your phone, watching murder on telly. That's how I chill.
Actual murder.
Well, I love a BBC drama.
Like a bit of murder.
Not actually someone.
That's how you chilling. It's now I can really kick back on this.
Good old snuffers on the TV. That's some good stuff,
No, you know what I mean. You're watching Netflix or BBC drama, and it's 10 episodes long, and you definitely should not be wasting 10 hours doing that. And you're watching people do all the things that you want to do, and you're I could do that, but I'm just going to sit here in my joggers, eating the banana bread that's about 4 days old, watching that. So that was City of Doubt. And I had loads of cool ideas. So I came from a theatre background. So I had this I could do this music video, this. I had this concept going around. So one of the lines in the song is, it's basically watching people, like, behind the stage curtains, watching people, like, deliver the thing that you want to do, and you're just watching them and you're, like, applauding them and cheering them on, because, like, I have like a day job, and it's being a music facilitator. So I work with young people, helping them create original music and helping them on their path to being a musician and telling them that they can. So I'm like cheering them on from the side. And I was like, I'm a fraud. I'm saying, music's great. You can do this. Like, you know, it's great. And, you know, just believe in yourself and you'll be able to do anything. And I was like, I don't believe in myself. So that was City of Doubt. So that was when I thought, right, do you know what? That's what the EP is going to be called. That's going to be the concept. And I'm going to get myself off the couch. I'm going to get upstairs. I'm going to practice. I'm going to work on stuff. So that was that song.
I was going to ask you that. How do you get yourself out of that mentality? Because I have that like quite a lot sometimes. Like if I've done like a shoot or whatever, and then like I know like something wasn't quite right, and it's like having to like sit down and deal with the footage and just be like, oh, this is gonna be fucking shit. It's gonna be fucking shit. Like,
I hate watching stuff like that back.
It's horrible, and like
shoots.
Like I don't think I don't think I want to watch that live session. I'm like, oh, that was definitely.
I know, and it's just like, I don't know. I've kind of like started turning around and just saying "fuck you" to myself, and just like, you know, getting quite not angry with myself, but like it's that little voice in your head, isn't it? It's basically just creating all this self-doubt,
which is the worst
really
voice in your head. Like, so I've this year I'm turning 30, which the whole world knows because I feel like I'm turning 100 the way that I'm seeing it in my head. But like, I'm just pressing the fuck it button this year.
Yeah.
Like, literally, just not going to apologise for myself anymore. Just going to do it. I think the whole thing for me is because my first ever band that I was in had come from being involved with Snarky Puppy, and these were all these incredible musicians, and I got to a jam night, didn't even know what a trombone was. Like, my background was like, you know, growing up, my granddad would have loved me to be a country singer. That's like, really wanted me to do that, and I was like, I just want to sing Britney.
Why didn't you?
I don't know. And
country's the greatest.
He was like trying to teach me like country songs on the guitar. I was like, can you teach me Britney? I was like, and he's like, no, I don't know.
More fool you, that's what I say.
More fool me.
You should have been a country artist. Everyone should be country artists.
I mean, I'd love to go to Nashville.
Oh yeah,
like, that's
a dream.
I think that's what it is. Like, they have a way of telling stories in such a beautiful way. And I was like, I'm just a bit more like straight to the point, which now I kind of want to get in the middle of that. But yeah, I just pressed the F it button this year, and I'm just like, do you know what? If you don't do it, like, you're not going to do it next year, because like, this feels like an important birthday that you're approaching, and like, if you don't do it, this is when, you know, when everyone says, have you got a plan B? This is when plan B goes into action, and I don't... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't give yourself that. What is plan B?
I don't have a plan B, because I never made one, because I was like, there's not going to be a need for plan B.
You don't need one. Yeah. It's fine.
I often find if you don't make a plan B and only have plan
A, that's
it. You have nothing. Like, plan A becomes plan B.
Yeah.
And plan C.
And plan C. It's worse versions of plan A.
It is just the plan. So, yeah, I've had to just battle with myself and get over the fear of what people think, because do you know what? People are going to think what they're going to think, and I can't change that.
Exactly,
so, it is scary though, because I'm like, I'm going to do this thing, and all these people I've done stuff with before, it's like this, I don't know. Yeah. So that was City of Doubt, and I'm going to try and go through these faster. I waffle a lot.
No, all you want.
It's a podcast, you know, we're here to...
Waffle.
So the third song was Banksy and World Peace.
Yes.
There was a lot going on in the world, wasn't there? And yeah, I've been in a relationship for 7 years, and I think that's worked really well, because I'm not in the house a lot and always gigging and always out and got a purpose. And yeah, lockdown was tough for a lot of people. And you know, my boyfriend was still doing his normal job, but in the house. And, you know, the house where he was working was the studio. So in the day, I was like, come on, it's 5:10. I want to get in there now. You know, you're finished now. And And we were like sharing that space. So he was like working and still doing the normal job. And I was like, what is my purpose? And, you know, and doing live streams and Zoom. And I am 99.9% extrovert. Sometimes I get sick of people, but really? I need people. Really? I need people. I need energy. So there was points where I was like, what are you doing with me? Like, I am a nutter. Like, why? And just, you know, when you just like realise, do you know what? He's my best mate and I can talk to him about, because he produces and makes a lot of drum and bass music and supports me like 100%. And I can talk to him about that, but he just keeps it real with me as well. So it's like having that person that supports you, helps you, but you can talk about those serious things. So it's that kind of nice relationship thing, because I'd always talked about love in a deep, depressing way, and I thought you had to be hurt and in pain to be in love. And I was like, I don't know why, I just thought like that's when you make the greatest songs. I was like, oh, my heart's suffering, I'm happy and everything's great. So I was like, do you know what, just celebrate that. So I was like, this could be like a really cool summery pop tune. And I also started thinking about who was going to be maybe listening to my music. And then, so it was quite, I don't know, I could imagine it maybe being on like Stranger Things, like, or something like that. And, or like people coming to watch my shows, or maybe people making like TikTok dances about it. I'm not on TikTok, by the way, but making TikTok dances about it. I was like, I need to start seeing where this could be, because maybe my age group aren't listening to this, because I don't know, they might be listening to it. Might be. Yeah, I don't know. But I maybe just start thinking about when this comes out into the world, where would I be? Like, what lineup would I be on, or who would I want to support and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm making this music and maybe it needs to reflect in the lyrics a little as well.
Okay.
So that's Banksy and World Peace. Long way to explain that. And then last but not least is the first song that I actually wrote with Dan, who's doing the production.
Yeah.
So I was doing a commission for Science and Industry Museum for Factory Records, and there was 3 artists, and we had a week to be in the space, and we would deliver this performance, and we had to write some material, whether it be 1 song, 3 songs, and we had to be inspired by the commission that they put in for Factory Records.
Okay.
And just going around the space, I was like, these are all like rock stars, like these are all males, I can't relate. And I was just like, the stuff I was making was really like delicate and poppy and really like, life's good. I was like, what would they write about if they were going through this? And are we still in the pandemic? Who knows?
No. Let's say no.
Let's say no.
Let's say no.
0 rules now, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, yeah.
There's no like, nothing's mandated anymore.
Yeah.
I think
you're not breaking the law.
I think we're technically still in a pandemic, but it's like
the back end of it.
Like, who cares? You know what I mean?
Endemic.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's say, meh.
Well,
meh.
Yeah, it was kind of. This was, I think it was September last year. So we were like excited and a bit hopeful, but still could have gone back into a lockdown at Christmas. So it's you're in this limbo point, and Dan had wrote this thing to I think it was like a movie scene. It was like a movie scene that he'd wrote this music for, and I'd been writing these lyrics, and then we were getting together because he was performing in the residency at the end of the week for me. I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to do this. And I was like, I've been writing these lyrics and this would really work. And it was just a song about like, what do you stand for? Like if you're on your last breath and someone's holding a gun to your face, like what do you stand for? What do you accept? What do you not accept? What would you fight for? And what would you not fight for? And it was a weird time. Loads of stuff was going on. There's all these conspiracies and life was a bit weird. And it was just like, it was the first time I was like, oh, well, I've learned so much about myself in these last, I don't know how long, 18 months?
Yeah.
Is that a good figure.
That's fine, yeah.
It was about 18 months.
Long, wasn't it?
Oh.
That 2-week break we were all going to have.
Ha!
Wasn't a 2-week holiday, was it?
Laughable.
But yeah, I found myself in the pandemic being really, like, because there was loads, there's BLM movement, there was, protests, there was loads of stuff going on. And loads of my friends and me were like getting into like, not arguments, discussions about things that we shouldn't really be having discussions about. And everyone had an opinion and everyone was so about things. And it was just about like, well, I know what I stand for and I'm happy with that. And I'll challenge that and I'll have a discussion and I'll accept what you stand for. But our words shouldn't get in the way. So people were falling out that, been friends their whole life, family members.
Yeah.
People had, I did go to the BLM protest and my sister was like, why are you going to that? Like, we're in a pandemic. I was like, why am I not going to that?
Yeah.
Like, and also it felt like at the end of that residency, I had such a platform and it was a really weird week at the end of that week. And I was like, if I don't talk about what's going on and how I feel about it, what's the point in being an artist? Like, what is the point? So,
yeah, to express yourself, aren't
yeah,
you? So,
yeah.
That makes sense.
and also so it's got a great guitar solo and I'm like really like going for it and I just felt like a rock star and I wore a suit and I was just like, yeah, like I shouldn't really be on this stage because it was all female and in Factory Records, in the whole commission, the females that were represented were more from like an admin role. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get on this stage and I'm going to be a rock star. Like I'm going to strut about and get a bit of sassy attitude about me. And yeah, it was cool.
Nice.
So those are the songs.
That tune definitely feels a lot darker than the
Yeah.
other ones as well. It definitely comes across in that way. Like when you were performing, I was like,
Yeah.
this was a little bit different.
Yeah. And it's weird because I want to write more like that. But I used to be managed and I wasn't allowed to be like political. I had to be really like, don't say anything too, that anyone's going to take. I had to just be really like 2D, not give anything away, not say anything that I was going to be called a diva or attitude. Do you know what I mean? Just clean.
It's boring.
Boring.
It's fucking boring.
Yeah. I don't want to sell as many records as Adele just to, just sacrifice that.
Yeah.
Because I'm very opinionated. I'm not holding back anymore.
Good.
Okay.
Good for you.
That's good stuff.
The amount of like female artists that we've had on here, and it always seems to come up is like them not feeling comfortable enough to express themselves in a certain way, or feeling like they have to listen to like a lot of the time male like managers and stuff like that, and sort of change their vision. And I just find it like really infuriating and frustrating. I'm just like, you're squashing these people's potential to be something really genuine and be like the thing that we're drawn to in terms of music. Like we can't pinpoint what it is, but is genuinity, isn't it? It's someone being 100% themselves. It's just so fucking annoying when you're like mentioning things like that, and it's just like, why is the things still like this?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's at the point where they come along.
Yeah.
So I remember being ballsy through uni and just being really overconfident, not like arrogant, but overconfident to compensate, because really I was like, I should not be doing this. So I had to just put on this brave face and this front, which when people actually got to know me, they were like, oh, you're actually not like that. And I think we always feel like we have to prove ourselves. We always feel like we have to work harder, bigger, like there's actually the song that came from the residency, which I've not performed today, but it was like, you have big shoes to fill when you're a girl. Like, you can't be average. And even down to like, I would not say I'm a producer, even though like I produce those songs to a level, I still wouldn't call myself a producer. And the amount of females that will not own the roles they're in, they do. I managed myself before I got my manager, but yet I let him take me down this pathway for a couple of years. And I actually feel like when I broke away from it, it was like breaking away from like a a really bad relationship. It was that, I was like, I think I need therapy from this. Like, I actually felt like, I was like, I'm going to give up music. Not going to do it anymore. Like, I'm too broken. And that's just because I didn't have the balls at the time to be in the studio. Like, no. Like, because I'd be called a diva, because I'd be called, oh, she's hard to work with.
Yeah.
And especially being a vocalist first. Oh, singers, they don't know anything. Like, the amount of times I get mansplained stuff, and fine, that's cool. I'm happy to learn. But some of the stuff I'm like, do you think I was born yesterday or like living under a rock? Like, you know.
Yeah.
And you are normally the only female in the room. Like, those spaces, like, I turned down working with this producer that I really did want to work with, who worked with very similar artists that were, like, at such a pedigree. I was like, wow. But they started, like, liking all my pictures and calling me babe. And I was like, I don't want to get in a studio with this person, you know?
Fuck that, man.
But that's what
bullshit.
You've got to think about. But 5 years ago, I might have been like, I really want to make it. I'm going to go, you know? So it's a balance between being, like, confident but also being like, I don't need to put myself in all these situations. Say no at times.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it's hard being a girl. No, it is and it isn't, because at the moment there's so many people champion, like, female artists, and like, I do a lot of work with Brighter Sound, and a lot of the stuff I do is for their programme Both Sides Now, which is about making things more equal. Not saying, oh, you know, girls need a chance. It's like, no, let's just get us on a level playing field, because we have the skills, but maybe we don't have the platform, and let's get us, you know, somewhere in the middle that we can all work together, because that's a great dynamic.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be this, like, tokenistic thing. Like, hey, look, here's these great female artists.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's
Just
some
artists. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it needs to be.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you know, fuck that guy off, because he sounds...
Yeah. Hope he's listening.
as well. Fuck you, whatever your name is. Fuck you.
I can only apologise a certain amount of times, you know.
Oh, not you.
Oh, it was
you,
George.
Oh.
What, are you coughing?
No,
George making a
he's made a
terrible
terrible
joke.
joke. Doesn't matter.
Crap joke from George.
So, what have you got coming up in the pipeline? Bear in mind that it is the 19th of April right now.
Obviously, it's
Obviously,
today.
clearly,
Future.
the future.
One way to time travel. Come on a podcast. Well, at this point, I should be preparing a campaign to put out a single.
Yep, but you are.
I mean, I'm going to write that date now, so make sure, like, that is the deadline.
It's happening,
yeah, I'd really like to release a single by June.
Cool.
I've not released anything new that I've not been, like, featured. So I do a lot of collaborations, but, like, that I've put out for about 6 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I put my EP on Bandcamp in the pandemic because I was like, I want to give the musicians money. Like, I'll put that out there, because that was also the bad thing about having my manager. I made this EP, I did this Kickstarter, I had this launch, had a great band, and then, yeah, I want to manage you, blah, blah, blah. And then slowly, like, sacked my band, like, changed the direction. Do you know what I mean? Madness.
Yeah.
So I had this box of, like, 500 EPs that, like, it's like, oh, that's a great stand for stuff, you know. So I was just like, oh, I'm going to put this on Bandcamp, and, you know, hopefully people will buy this, and, you know, it gives something back. And I was like, if I'm going to die of coronavirus, which I thought I was going to die at that point, I haven't put anything out that I'm proud of. And I was ridiculously proud of that EP. And I was so proud of the musicians that were involved. And I got so much good feedback, and I just let one person squash that. So I haven't released for, like, 6 years. So I'm like, oh, starting again. But starting again with experience. So I'd like to put a single out in June, and I would like to put this EP out in July. So that's kind of the dates I'm setting for myself.
You are withholden to that now.
Well, they're out there now. I've manifested it. Better get sorted. Yeah.
Have you got any gigs or anything that you want to tell people about?
Yes. I am doing a full band gig at the Bridgewater Hall on Friday, the 20th of May.
Nice.
And it's a lunchtime concert, and it's free. So, you know, if you're up at lunchtime, come and
I don't know what time's lunchtime for you.
Well, yeah, because you don't get up early, do you?
For me.
I think we're on 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Or 2. It's getting
Early, that, isn't it? Jesus Christ, you think anyone's going to turn up? 1 o'clock.
I'm paying people to come.
No, fair enough.
You won't be there.
No, I won't be there. I'll be snoozing.
Oh,
No, I will. I'll come.
Please come.
I literally live round the corner.
Oh, how rude then. You
No
better be there.
excuse, man.
I'll definitely be there. What, 20th of May?
Yeah.
What time?
I'll hit you up with a
1 o'clock.
message.
1 o'clock.
I think 1 o'clock.
Just do it,
Folding
Ali.
socks at that point.
Just be better.
No, I will be there. I will be there. I promise you.
Nice little matinee for you.
Manifesting it now. I'm going to be there.
Nice. So you got the Bridgewater gig. Mm-hmm. You got the EP coming out.
Yeah, and then obviously if I do have this EP ready, which I have every intention, now I've just put the pressure on. I'd like to do like a launch in the summer. So just in the middle of talking to a couple of venues about that.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
So if people want to find out more information about all this exciting stuff that's coming up, where can they find you online?
It is at Chesqua on Instagram, although I'm really terrible at social media, but Instagram, Facebook, Bandcamp is the old EP, which is great. Go buy it. But yeah, probably Instagram. It's where we're all hanging out now, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah,
I think Facebook's a bit dead, isn't it?
it is.
I think it's all. I don't do any of it, if I'm honest. I do Reddit.
I hate it.
I do Reddit, and that's it.
Oh.
Really. Yeah, Reddit's awesome.
I actually hate social media. Like a track that I featured on came out last month, and because I've not been checking my socials, I've completely missed it. So I'm like, well, I can't really post about it out now because it's been out a month. So I'm probably not going to post about it. Is that wrong?
No, it's fine.
You do you. It's fine. And for the people at home, it's Chesqua.
Yeah,
for
Chesqua, not Chesqua.
I do have one more question for both of you, actually, before we wrap this sucker up. If you could sum this podcast up in 3 words, what would it be?
Oh. Jazzy.
Nice.
Cheats.
Cheats.
Cheats,
Cool.
called
Oh,
cheats.
yeah, okay, I feel bad now. I don't want people like atting me about like diminishing the entirety of neo soul to like one chord. It just there
Please
is.
teach me though that.
I'll teach
That'd
you,
be
but it
handy.
is. It's just it's a funny trick that does sound like a neo soul song.
Okay, well, that's cool.
I just don't want people to get annoyed at me and like.
No, they'll be fine.
There's fans of neo soul who are like religious about it. They could like really. I don't want to be atted anyone. I don't know it that much. Okay.
Anyone in particular?
No. I don't want Chris Dave on my door. You know, it's like knocking down the door.
Knock it all. Last
Jazzy
word.
cheats.
Jazzy cheats. That's right.
Cheats.
Jazzy cheats. Oh God. Cozy.
Nice.
Cozy.
Jazzy cheats. Cozy.
Jazzy cozy cheats.
Jazzy cozy cheats.
Sounds bad,
and
doesn't it?
works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ali, what you got?
I hate this question every single time.
Not prepared for
I
it.
I keep forgetting that you do this.
It's every podcast.
I know, I keep forgetting that you do this.
Ali, we've done this 59 times.
Tea.
You can't just like I spy
Tea, plant,
content.
frog.
Oh,
Tea,
Ali.
plant, frog.
Right, well, on that absolute bombshell, thank you very much for coming in today, Chesqua.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
It's
for having
been
me.
a pleasure. Ali, thanks.
I've not really been present
Yeah,
in
I
this one.
feel like
don't
Ali's not even had a feat.
I've not spoken this, but you two were just having such great
I
discussions.
know, I just take up the airspace.
I just didn't want
anyway,
to.
sorry.
I didn't want to
Oh, no, it's
encroach.
fine,
I didn't
bud.
want to encroach.
You
in this one.
added some valuable things.
Yeah.
I bang bang.
The
You know?
chord thing.
I kind of I made little jokes and that's about it. I didn't add. I don't think anything of value. You know, I don't think I've added anything of value to this podcast.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, you have.
I'm going to learn that chord.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm going to
Every
go
day's a
back to
school
Neo
day.
Soul. Why not?
Do it.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed this episode at home. Go and check out Chesqa's stuff on her social media. And she's going to be putting out her EP in July, fingers crossed.
Yes.
We are putting out artists every week, a new artist, and promoting their music. So subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on Instagram as well under RecRooms. Don't bother with Facebook because who can be asked
Dead.
with that?
Is it dead?
It's dead.
It's dead.
Yeah.
We're cancelling Facebook.
I only
Forget
use it
about
for groups now. That's kind of the only reason I'm on
So
there.
don't bother with that one. And of course, we're on all good podcasting apps, so you can listen to us on the go. That's all we have for you this week, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast to catch up on new episodes every week. Also, check us out on our Facebook and Instagram at RecRooms, where you can find out about our other exciting music series. We also have this and all our other episodes of the podcast up on our RecRooms YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure. See you next time.